and I struggled like greatly with so much like identity and like not really knowing where I fit. So I am black, Mexican, and Irish. My dad's black, my mom's Mexican and Irish. Growing up, I lived in a predominantly Mexican and white area. I grew up around some black people, but they weren't as common in my locality as like when I lived in Chicago.
I know at some point you had to choose a race that you're more allied with.
It's facts.
Obviously, as I know your mom is half Irish, also Mexican, and your dad is black. How did you end up accepting? Because me, when I see you, actually, I look at you as a black African American. How did you end up now saying this is the identity I want to portray out there, show out there, this is who I am and I own it? Because I barely hear you saying you're Mexican.
Yeah, I don't really identify with it like that. I don't speak Spanish. I don't really look all the way Mexican. And so, you know, and eventually I just started hanging around with black people. But I think that, like, for me, it's like, it's something about black people. It's something about like the high vibrational energy, like the genuine brotherhood that's had when you with like other melaninated people. Like, for me, I gravitated towards that. I felt like I needed it.
Wagwan, everybody. This is Blazy, and I'm back again. I'm back again. And hey, listen, just before I continue, you can see, I know you can see a very handsome gentleman on my right.
I don't know about all that.
So,
okay, listen, hold on. So, I'm a familiar face. That's what I'm a familiar.
Well, we've seen you a few times, but we haven't seen you dressed up like this.
Oh,
come on, man.
You know,
the few times I've seen you, you're just dressed up casually walking in the streets. But who knew that a day like this will ever come where I can sit down and have a conversation with you? And actually, I'm going to let him introduce himself. But just to be fair, this is my brother. That's how simple I can make it. And so I'm going to go ahead and let the handsome man introduce himself.
Oh, thank you. Asante.
And then we see what goes from there.
So my name is Alejo. I also go by AJ Starseed. You can find me. You can find AJ Starseed on any like music platform, any Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Apple Music.
I'm gonna type it down there so they can check it out.
For sure. Yeah. So I make music. I own a music studio. Those are the first two things about me. And so I think based on what I understand this conversation to kind of be about, I'm excited to really tell y'all my story and just to be able to have this conversation. So like he said, this is my brother. I have a lot of love for this man, a lot of love for his family, a lot of love for just like the kind of like family unit that me and Ken and all these other friends that we've kind of like created together, like this one big, like so much brotherhood and love and genuine drive to succeed.
Should I call it magic?
Magic.
That's right. Magic. I think my big word is magic. And actually, as we continue, just remember, if it's your first time checking my YouTube, please don't forget to click that subscribe button. I'm getting lots of subscribers actually recently.
I think as of today, hold on. Today is the 11th of September. Yeah. And let me see how many let me see how many followers you have.
Yeah, I think I have like 2,800.
You probably have more than that now.
Yeah, and I have to tell you, just start. As you guys, when Nike tells you, just do it.
So 2.82K.
Oh, that's very nice. Yeah. So if you can help us kick it to 3,000 subscribers by next week, that would be magic. And please don't forget to like and comment if you think that you have a different opinion, because also that helps the channel grow with all the traffic.
I think the biggest part of like why YouTube is so cool is that it gives everyone an equal opportunity to kind of express their views, and then even with people that like Blazy who are, you know, like just starting out, and his biggest video is him going through the slums of Africa, bro.
I know, man.
Like it just going through, and even like the street interviews. I feel like something that makes Blazy very special is that he doesn't sugarcoat nothing. He's not afraid to like express his opinion or even ask you some of the like the tough and like strangely and actually the funny taboo questions.
The funny thing is, when I invited my brother I told him we're going to talk about something, and I haven't prepared anything because the conversations have to be organic.
That's facts.
I don't like to do stuff that are like scripted or plan this, plan that. Hey, we're human beings, and we just have to do things organic. I just come. And to my introduction now, how can you find your purpose in life?
Okay.
How can you do that? Because everybody is like running like a rat or a chicken.
It's a rat race, bro.
Everybody's trying to figure out what's my role in life.
Crabs in a
before
bucket.
I leave. So let me ask you.
Yeah.
Have you ever asked yourself, why are you here?
Oh yeah, I have. I think that there was a lot of time in my life when I didn't really know who I was, and I struggled like greatly with so much like identity and like not really knowing where I fit. So I am black, Mexican, and Irish. My dad's black, my mom's Mexican and Irish. Growing up, I lived in a predominantly Mexican and white area. I grew up around some black people, but they weren't as common in my locality as like when I lived in Chicago. I will say that for me, I couldn't really hang out with a lot of white kids just because I was very different, and people would look at me a little strange. I was too black for the Mexicans, and I was too light for the black kids that I was around. So I was kind of like in this weird spot where like I just kind of had to exist. And when I was younger, I used to get in a lot of fights. I used to get in trouble. Because I would get bullied. I was very short, very small for my size, like very short, very skinny, and so it made me a target. And so I had to prove myself. I had to prove my worth, and so it was an interesting experience. And so for a while, I struggled with like self-esteem and like figuring out who I was. And I think that for me, the biggest thing was like breaking out of those patterns of thinking of like I'm not good enough or.
So are you trying to tell me that you found your purpose and you found who you are already?
I think that I'm getting there. I do believe I understand who I am. I understand my capacities and my capabilities, and I believe that I have adopted a learning mindset in the sense that I am willing to learn and grow into the person that I want to be.
What made you think, or what made you believe that now I am so confident of myself? Like, what kind of things did you do to get into that stage? Because that's where many people are stuck.
I think that for me, my story is a little bit different. I had a lot of experiences like where I was forced to either perform in the sense that you either figure it out and make it happen as a man, or you don't make it at all.
I see.
And so I've been in situations where your back's against the wall and you either throw this punch or you just get beat up, or just situations like where you don't necessarily, like the average individual wouldn't want to be in that room, but you in that room, so what are you going to do to make the best of it?
I see. And I'm very curious about, you said you're Mexican, black, and Irish. And I know at some point you had to choose a race that you're more allied with.
It's facts.
Obviously, as I know your mom is half Irish, also Mexican, and your dad is black. How did you end up accepting? Because me, when I see you, actually, I look at you as a black African American. How did you end up now saying, this is the identity I want to portray out there, show out there, this is who I am and I own it? Because I barely hear you saying you're Mexican.
Yeah, I don't really identify with it like that. No, so it's funny. So like when I was younger, I used to like really like want to identify with Mexicans, but then part of like the Spanish culture and like just like Spanish speakers in general is they all speak Spanish. I don't know Spanish. I don't speak that language. So, and my mom never knew Spanish. So like part of it is like, okay, well, let me read the reality here. I don't speak Spanish. I don't really look all the way Mexican, and so. And eventually I just started hanging around with black people. But I think that, like, for me, it's something about black people. It's something about, like, the high vibrational energy, like, the genuine brotherhood that's had when you with, like, other melaninated people. For me, I gravitated towards that. I felt like I needed it. And so that led me down a very interesting road in my life. But And I would not trade those experiences for nothing.
Would you say that at some point you had to do some things that will prove that you're black?
Ooh,
Because
that's a good question.
Yeah, because
That's a really good question.
I told you I have no filters, my friend.
No, that's facts, yeah.
Because for you, because I've seen this thing in America where they say that black people act this kind of way.
Okay, yeah, right there. So I think that because society has forced an understanding of what it means to be black, or what the black persona is, or like that black people are just naturally ghetto or aggressive or whatever it may be, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that because of that, it puts you into a box where like you feel like you're not black unless you act this way. And so like for me, my dad, he's a very educated, very, I don't want to say proper, but he's an educated like businessman. He's black. He's a black man, but he's educated and very business oriented.
Like you would say, like that, like Obama type of black.
Yeah, like an Obama type of black. Like, and so like he's well respected in his communities. People know him, people respect him, people love him. Not many people don't like him. And the reality is that, you know, but that just because he is who he is and people understand him to be black, that doesn't mean that he's ghetto or that he fits into that general narrative. And especially because like a lot of the people from my dad's side of the family, they're doctors, they're lawyers, like they're black excellence. That's what real black excellence is.
And so what did you do to prove that you're black to your friends? Because I know lots of pressure. I don't think it came from your family and your friends. I think I mean not from your family, but it came from your friends who you wanted to hang out with.
100%.
Like you had to act a certain way to be around them.
Yeah.
So what
I think that like there was a time when I was younger and I felt like I needed to just be more aggressive or
like that.
like be more aggressive or
if you're black and you're out there, you have to be aggressive. I like that.
Bro, shut up. Bro, what are you telling these
I'm
people?
joking. Okay.
I'm a PK guy. No, but I think that part of it is like, I was more aggressive. I would do certain substances because like, and that's what kind of like what got me into stuff. So for context, I'm very, very familiar with death. Death is not a stranger to me. I lost my best friend when I was 10. And so for me, like, there was a lot of time in my life where I used substances to cope. And like you and anybody listens to my music, you'll kind of hear about this. But for me, I think that like throughout this entire journey of my life, I've had experiences in the streets. I've had experiences just in various different parts of my life where like I was forced to figure out, okay, is this really who I am? Or are the people I'm around, or are the actions that I'm doing really reflecting my character as an individual, or are they reflecting a persona that I feel like I need to fit into?
I see.
And I think that goes back to partially being black, because especially like when you look on the internet and like you see so many people like trying to emulate the gang culture.
That's right.
Or the streets. Like for example, you got for example, King Von and like Lil Durk, people like that. Some of the biggest names out of Chicago. You have white kids in the suburbs singing King Von, saying F this, F that, F Tuka, dropping the rake. They don't even know what none of this stuff is. Don't know what none of it means, but they want to emulate that culture because that's what they see on the internet. And then you got these gang members in the videos with throwing guns around and waving guns in the camera, and they make it look cool. They make it look fun. And people don't understand what comes with that. People die because of stuff like this. And
like, so when these guys sing, they really mean it. They don't like playing.
None of them playing. Like, obviously there's rappers that like portray a persona and they're faking it, but the reality of it is that the majority of these people that's really outside with these guns and these cameras, they is really with it. Like, they really outside on that corner, like on that car, like, what's to it? Who's this? Who's that? And unfortunately, it creates this environment where like you have people that don't know nothing about nothing, don't have nothing to do with any of this, that want to emulate that because they think it's cool. And it creates this dichotomy in society where you are encouraging kids to crash out, and by the term crash out, we mean like take actions to throw your life away. Take drastic and violent action for little or no good reason.
I see.
So, like, for me, it's like, wow, like I really had to think about the actions in my life and how they were affecting myself and others.
And that's very interesting, because actually when I moved into the States, I was told black people act like this. This is how they do their stuff. And mostly they are portrayed in a very negative way.
Sure.
And there's different kinds of black people actually I've seen in the United States, how they describe it. There's Obama type black. There's a working man black. It's just so hardworking, and then there's a ghetto black.
Yeah.
And then they say that a big percentage of black consists of the ghetto black, and they are portrayed as very dangerous.
I think, okay, so I want to speak to that real quick.
Please.
So I think that a lot of people that think that there's a stigma, for example, like people in Chicago, like people that's never been to Chicago or don't go to Chicago regularly, like they have this idea or this understanding like Chicago's overly dangerous. It's really not. It's only the same certain spots that you go.
That's right.
And like, even for example, so in the vlogs that I know y'all have seen, we went to LA. And part of some of the spots that we went to in LA, they're very like run down. We was in the hood, and so
Call it rough.
Yeah, it was a rough area for sure. But
I've
I'm used to it because I've spent time on the south side of Chicago. I spent time on the east side of Chicago. That was regular to me, and there were conversations that Blazy and Ken and I had where we were like, bro, it's not that serious. Like Blazy's under, like, oh my god, like
I know.
I'm scared.
I was so
nervous.
surprised. I felt like I was in a third world country, and this is Los Angeles, California.
Yeah,
I was in this street called Figueroa Street. We drove past Figueroa Street.
Oh, yeah.
And I kid you not, I saw women standing outside, semi-naked, selling sex.
That's facts. Yeah, it was a very. But that's regular, bro. Like to me, that's regular.
To me, that's regular in Kenya, not regular in the United States.
And so like to him, he was like, yo, like, and even certain places, like we would stop and like we had to go. There was this one time Ken really had to use the bathroom, and so we was like walking up and down the street trying to figure out where to go. And Blaze was like, yo, like I don't really want to sit here, like. I'm kind of uncomfortable. I'm like, bro, it's really not that serious. Like, it's not that bad. This is regular. Like, nobody's gonna come after you unless they know you or they feel like you're a threat to them. So, like, for us, they could tell we out of town. We from OT. They don't know us.
I want to drop something your way.
Please.
We're talking about purpose, right?
Oh yeah.
I think it came to a point because I used to see Alejo. He wasn't dressed like this. Look at his jacket and his shirt. I remember seeing you actually even last year at some point. We even went to the beach and played together and hung out. I'm sure, what was the turning point? And to be like, you know what? I'm going to find who I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's not that easy. Like, I know people who in their 50s, 60s, they're still trying to find who they are and why are they here. And the transformation I've seen in you, bro, in the last 5-6 months, it's drastic. And that's why I had to invite you here, because I know there's someone out there looking at us in this video right now who's in the same space like the one you used to be or the one I used to be. I won't say that I'm an angel, bro. I've been in the trenches.
Yeah.
So what really made you decide that now I am ready to find something that I'm really here for?
Yeah. Okay. So I want to start my kind of spiel off by saying this. I was always this person, but part of it was I had to reconcile how my actions and the people that I chose to be around would affect my reality. I got into this very, very long period of meditation where I would meditate regularly. I was exercising regularly, and to me, like, it was just really about finding my purpose. Now, granted, throughout this entire process, I had music. I've been making music since I was 13. So music has like really been the one thing that I've really stuck with, and in some ways it kept me out of trouble, in other ways it got me into trouble. And so I think that but music has always been the one constant. I've done a lot of different jobs, worked a lot of different industries. I've always had a job, worked a job since I was 14. And so for me, like, I was always used to getting money. I've done all different kinds of things in my life, and I think that at the time when you first really started to get to know me, and we've known each other for years, but we never really got close and started hanging out and doing stuff. So I think that at the time when I first started really coming around and hanging out with you, I was still like hanging around with the wrong people. I was still involved in the street stuff. And so like the reality of life is you become the sixth person you become the sum of the 5 people you hang around. You hang around with 5 gangbangers, you're going to become the 6th. You hang around 5 millionaires, you're going to become the 6th. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And so the reality is that at the time I was still hanging around those people, and I was still trying to immerse myself in that culture because that's what I was used to. That was my comfort zone. And so part of it is like sometimes you need to take that step and get out of your comfort zone because you know what's for your highest good. So you know what is gonna propel you on your journey in the goal to where you want to go instead of staying stuck where you at. And so what you don't change, you choose.
How do you feel your friends felt? Because I'll tell you this. One time when I was young, I was also with the wrong people.
Yeah.
And it took me a minute to finally brush them off my feet. Because these are people who I was completely allied to.
Yeah.
I was very devoted to them. We're doing things as one body system. And all of a sudden, I'm out. And I wasn't living that far. They could see me time to time. How do they feel? How do you think they feel when they feel like they see you around now acting more transformed or doing different kind of things compared to what you used to do back in time?
I think that sometimes so everybody has a particular perception of you, whether it be somebody that you meet on the street, whether it be somebody that's close to you, whether it be somebody that's a family member. And so sometimes it's hard for individuals that know you personally to see you anything other than what they initially saw you for.
I see.
And so, like, for example, the majority of the people that anybody hangs around, the people that you around sees something of themselves in you.
Yeah.
So, like, because it's something that they can relate to. If you can't relate to an individual, then why would you spend time with them? There's literally no reason to do that. So, part of it is like when I got close to you, you would tell me, I see my younger self in you. And now granted, I'm 21. This guy's 29. So, but now mind you, the way that I am, though, I've always hung around people that are older than me.
Yeah.
I was always hanging around people that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years older than me. Some of my closest friends are in their late 20s, early 30s, and some of them are in their late 30s, early 40s. So, like, I'm used to hanging around people that's older than me.
Actually, I see. So I'm gonna say this is out of context, but this guy here, he's gonna become so successful.
I don't know about all that, but I appreciate that.
For sure. I can see it for sure. I can see it with how you talk, bro. I'm telling you, when I saw the videos you showed me the other day, and I looked at you, and I was like, this is the kind of work this guy is putting in his life now. After all that drama, he's going far. Anyway, let's continue. Sorry about that. I just had to do a shout out.
I appreciate that. That's love for sure.
Yeah. And anyway, I can just also I have to ask you something else.
Please.
So, how do you motivate yourself to keep the fire burning? Because there's always something we call relapsing or collapsing or backsliding.
Yeah.
It's so easy to go back to the acts that you used to do back in the days more than being back. It's like they say, making one step back, it's this, but making 3 steps forward, it's completely so hard. How do you ground yourself to be in a space where like, you know what, I cannot go back there? How do you do that?
Oh yeah, you want me to have that conversation, don't you? He's trying to bait me to tell a certain story. He's trying to bait me to tell a certain story.
Because listen, there's a guy there for sure.
Yeah.
I'll give an example.
Yeah.
I've seen alcoholics.
Yeah.
And please forgive me if I call you alcoholics. People who suffer from substance abuse.
Frequent alcohol consumption.
Well, to the point where they cannot control it. These guys, they'll do 5 years. But if they miss and they do one drink, they drop completely and they start drinking every day. Majority of them. I know many still. So, and this is with every habit. I've seen people who are addicted to pornography. I've seen people who are addicted to cigarettes. I've seen people who are addicted to all kind of stuff. Like, it's always a working journey every day. How do you keep yourself on the top daily?
Because I've hit rock bottom.
I see.
I'm not gonna go into details because I feel
you
like
don't need to.
Yeah,
There's
because I know who's gonna
watch.
I know who's gonna watch this, and I don't need them to hear
Ken?
the story. No, not Ken.
Oh, okay.
But no,
Okay.
not Ken. No, but no, we love Ken. Ken's great.
And you don't need to go deeper in your life. You know?
Yeah,
This is
no, I don't want to go too deep.
You can just tell. Yeah, this is. I always say this. If you come here as my guest, I'm going to ask you obviously the hardest question.
Oh yeah.
But you have a right to answer. You know.
So I've hit rock bottom. I've been in places that I really, really didn't want to be. I've had experiences where I almost lost my life. And I realized that I refuse to be at the mercy of another individual. I want to make my own destiny. I want to be the one where if something terrible happens to me, I want it to be my fault. I don't want it to be somebody else's or somebody else's careless attitude or negligence to be the reason why I was not able to achieve my dream.
I see. Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And then before we finish our talk, I have to ask you some few things that are happening around the world. Just to be fair.
Yeah, please.
Mr. Charlie Kirk. I have a Kenyan accent, so please help you understand. Charlie Kirk was a very great debater. This guy was debating the left. In America, there's the left and the right. Obviously, Democrats and Republicans. And this guy was a right-wing, very close Trump ally. And yesterday he was shot, and the neck was a horrible, horrible death.
Yeah,
I have to say that. What are your opinions about that? About him being killed?
It's an interesting. It's an interesting way of asking that. Here's the way I look at it.
Because he was very I'll say this. He was calling out transgenders in public. He was calling out, obviously, telling people the only way is Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Also, he was saying that black people have to stop being lazy or acting victims. And these words were considered triggers, and many people are being triggered by these words, mostly people from the LGBTQ plus community,
sure,
and some people from the black community, majority, because he even said he's against DEI, diversity, inclusive,
inclusion act or something like that.
What do you think, Mr. Man?
The diversity, equity, inclusion.
What do you think? Yeah.
So I think that this man was a talented individual.
Yeah.
He's a well-spoken individual, and so I think that there are always people out in this world like that, where they are well-spoken, they're articulate, they're intelligent, and they use those abilities, or what some people would call the gift of gab, to further their own agenda. This man had an agenda. He had a certain particular belief system, and he did it well. He would go to universities and other public areas all over the country and debate people. That's a skill.
It's not easy to debate.
It's not an easy.
And he will debate hundreds.
Yeah. So credit where credit's due. The man was talented. He had a lot of promise. He was a CEO. He was a CEO probably. I don't know when he started his company or what age, but
26.
So the average individual that's a CEO at 26, that's rare. There's not that many. So credit where credit's due. The man was talented. The man had ambition. I respect that. Part of it is that when you talk like the way he was talking, and you express those controversial, very taboo opinions in such a way that it leaves people to either A, misinterpret, B, twist your words, or C, have some sort of emotional reaction to what you have to say. The reality is that it's never good. And so, I'm not saying that what happened to him was okay. I'm not saying what happened to him was good. And seriously, my condolences go out to his family, his friends, his loved ones, because what happened to him was a terrible thing. It was an absolute atrocity, and nobody should ever lose their life for just wanting to genuinely express their opinions and their thoughts. Freedom of speech exists for a reason. So if your life is taken because you want to live and abide by and use your First Amendment right, that's not fair. That's wrong.
And another thing that has been on the news is the lady from Ukraine who was killed in a train station, and there was two sides of the story. One is many people, mostly from the white people community, they were saying that why is this story not being given a nice limelight for it to be popular? As they even gave an example like George Floyd.
Okay.
Because this man just walked, stabbed this woman 4 or 5 times,
Yeah.
and this woman bled and collapsed and died. I think you guys have seen those videos. If you haven't, you can go on Twitter, it's out there. But just remember, it's very graphic. And they're like, so because she's white, the left media is not willing to give it content, and if it was a black person, it would have been crazy. What's your opinion about that?
I think that the reality of it is that there are some very sick individuals in this world, and I don't think everything needs to be made into a race issue. Just because a black man harms a white woman does not mean that a white man is not harming a black woman.
That's right.
And just because and like black men harm white people probably less statistically than a white person is harming a black person.
That's right.
And so the reality of it is that anytime it happens from the black being the aggressor toward the white, it's blown out of proportion. It's like, hey, look, this is why we can't trust these people, and it's used as a tool to spread fear and propaganda for a racist or prejudiced agenda. I think that the reality of it is that whenever a white person is the aggressor against a black person, it's either A, swept under the rug, or B, it's also blown out of proportion, and it's to perpetuate a racist agenda or a prejudiced agenda. And so the reality is that because race is such a touchy topic in this country, anything race related is going to be used as a weapon, whether it be against the whites or against the blacks. It doesn't matter. Racism, one, is wrong. Prejudice is also wrong, but the reality of it is that this is something that this country was founded on, and there are a lot of people with a lot of trauma and a lot of interesting opinions about that topic, and it's something that we can't really like negate. It's something that we can't sweep under the rug, but the reality of it is that it's not going to change unless we start changing the way we view things, and it's not going to change unless we start the relinquishing of actions and crimes committed in the sense of racism. That man probably didn't kill that white woman out of saying, oh yeah, she's white, let me kill her. There was probably more to the story. If you do any kind of statistics on any kind of crime, there's usually some form of motive. People just don't randomly kill somebody on a train or just kill somebody in general. And unfortunately, that's the reality. And even if this person was going to randomly kill this individual on a train, hypothetically, right? He probably would have killed more than one person. He's on a train full of people. Why would you just single out that one person?
And that's why people are so shocked. Why did he just kill that one person?
Yeah, so like there's got to be some more to the story there. But unfortunately, we might not know that because there's going to be an agenda that's pushed for whatever happens. And so I think that because we live in such an information bubble, especially in this country, and it's just an unfortunate occurrence where like we don't always get all the facts when they're presented, and because it always is feeding some sort of agenda that is then rooted in monetary gain. And so unfortunately that's just the reality of it.
Well, man, what I have to say, if you're out here, just be careful, watch who you hang out with, watch what you're doing, and sometimes watch what you're saying.
You hear me?
I think I'm the only guy who doesn't watch that. I don't really watch what I'm saying because I'm always very strong, opinionated on some topics, and I become so passionate while talking about some different kind of topics. And I think slowly, step by step, I'm going to learn, and hopefully I won't get myself in trouble. The good thing is I think the cancel culture have kind of died in the last since the new.
Oh no, cancel culture is alive and well,
but not as rough the way it used to.
I think cancel culture is alive and well only if an individual is in extreme power, and even in their livelihood and their source of income relies on public opinion.
Oh yeah.
So like for example, if you were to only do YouTube and you were like super famous,
Then I'll be canceled.
and the only thing that you had as income wise was YouTube, and that's your entire, and like God forbid if you lost that income, your whole life would turn upside down. It's that kind of thing.
That's
or
right.
for example, like when I'll use DaBaby as an example. He's a rapper. Some of y'all know who he is. He said some kind of like homophobic comments at a show, and he immediately got canceled. And so, and like a lot of his stuff got taken down, and he got kind of like blackballed from the industry, and now he's really making his way back. And so, shout out to him because he's definitely doing his thing. But I think that cancel culture is real.
Yeah, but I feel like after Trump was elected, it has it's there, but not as vicious, because Trump was also part of the victims of cancel culture, because I know when he said, "I'll grab women by the pew."
Yeah.
By the pew. Yeah. That was seen as controversial, and he said so many things.
I mean, he said all kinds of controversial stuff. He told a lady he would buy her car and her kids. No, I'm serious. She's like, He's like, I don't have time to buy. I want your car.
Yeah.
I don't have time to take your kids.
So guys,
I'm buying them too.
Cancel me now when I'm still poor. Don't wait until my YouTube becomes so big, and then I'll go back to my YouTube, and then anyway. But it was nice having you in the house.
Yes, sir.
In the hot seat.
Yeah, the hot seat is crazy.
Hot seat,
yeah, this is the seat where I get cooked.
If this seat can start talking, man, people will run away.
Yeah, what kind of atrocities have been committed on this couch?
I know. But anyway, guys, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and until next time, we say peace.
Ooh, that was clean.
That was cool. Thank you, bro.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.